710 ESPN Southern California Experience. Broadcasting from LA Live, here's LaFern.
Good morning and welcome to the Experience here on ESPN LA 710 AM. I have the great experience to be speaking with Mortimer Jones, Executive Director for the Salvation Army, Siemon Family, Youth, and Community Center, and also LaRon Armstead, who finished his 4-year career playing in 109 games and tied for 19th all-time at LMU. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Hey, how are you doing?
Thank you for having me.
I'm doing great. Thank you guys so much for coming on. Mortimer, can you tell us about the Salvation Army and making a difference in lives for many of the youth here in Los Angeles?
Well, the Salvation Army has been around for a long time. As a matter of fact, this year we're celebrating 125 years in Los Angeles. And more importantly, next year will be 10 years in South Los Angeles. And, in 2003, we opened our doors on Central Avenue. And Central Avenue is a very well-known area. It's actually a borderline that represents back in the days of the Bloods and the Crips. And the Salvation Army is smack on that line. And, about 5 years before that, the Salvation Army moved into South LA and would actually go into schools and do after-school programs. So we didn't have a home, but we just go in and reach out to kids. And as that 5 year came to an end with funding, the Salvation Army realized that the need was so great that there was no way we could actually walk away from South LA. And we knew we had to find somewhere where we could almost set up shop and stay and make it our home forever. And, we acquired property and we totally renovated it. And put a full community center in. I mean, we were way more than just a youth center. We started as young as babies. We have from babies all the way up to youth, including having a social services office where we can help with utility assistance, rental assistance, with groceries. We have a full gymnasium, dance studio. We have hip-hop dance classes, karate classes, modern dance. We have 2 art studios, a computer lab, fitness center. It's literally just decked out with just about everything that we can think about that a young person will need. So these are not things that as far as we're concerned, they need, that we would like just having it so it looks good. We want to have things in there where we believe that our young people and kids could benefit from. So we've been doing that now for 10 years. We basically are split up into academics, into the arts, and into sports and recreation. And that's our 3 different components that we offer.
And LaRon, how does this youth center fit into your life?
Well, the youth center opened up when I was in the 8th grade, and I actually wasn't into sports or nothing. I was like a young youth without guidance or goals in my life. And once the youth center opened up and I met Mr. Jones and Andre Patterson and Dan Larson, it changed my life immensely. I became a better student. I picked up sports. I picked up basketball. And for about 4 years throughout my high school career, the Salvation Army was my home. It was my home. I stayed up there after practice from about 8 o'clock. On summers, I was there from 10 to 8, just helping out and just becoming a better character, just becoming a better individual. And it just played a huge role in my life, even to this day. Without the Salvation Army, I would not be in college. I would not be the person I am. I'm kind of scared to even think what I would have become if the Salvation Army would have never became into my life. So it's just been just a great place for me and even my family and my friends just to get away from everything growing up in South LA. So the Salvation Army is a huge, huge, huge deal for me. It's a huge, huge deal. Like one day, hopefully I can do something for someone that the Salvation Army did for me.
Mortimer, do you find a lot of kids around LaRon's age finding the youth center the same way he did?
Oh yes, even today. A matter of fact, my biggest struggle is when I hear that one of the kids or young men that we have actually worked with, is in trouble of some sort. I always question, what have we done wrong that they have taken that particular direction? But in addition to LaRon, we do have other young men that we can say that we're proud of. They might not have necessarily to college, but if you understand what the odds are as a young man in South LA to move away from a lot of negative things that happen there and to accomplish something, to acquire a job, to have a steady job, to have goals in mind, that is huge. And we do have men who are doing that, who are still focused on making something of themselves. And to be honest with you, I mean, we're a young center. And so even the days when LaRon visits the center, he becomes that role model without him even realizing it, maybe, that there are people looking at him now and going, man, he did it. I can do this too.
Right, absolutely. LaRon, how was it for you growing up?
Well, growing up, in South LA, it was rough, but I mean, I'm not complaining about it. But I grew up in the Pueblo del Rio projects, and it was rough. I got 5 other brothers and sisters that my mom had, and my dad has about 8 or 9 of us, I believe. So I had a big family. We were kind of spread out, but I had a big family. But it was just rough. Like some days, we lived upon a government aid, so it was hard. It was hard for me and my family, to eat some nights. So we had to basically fend for ourselves, just get food for maybe friends or anybody, or maybe after school programs. Thankful for those, but it was real hard. We moved around, and just growing up, it was just a tough experience. But without growing up like that, I probably wouldn't have these tough characteristics I have. Like, I know how to survive in any situation, I would say, So I just made the best out of it, and I'm trying to turn it into a positive.
I can't imagine trying to feed yourself as a kid in the 8th grade. Yeah. What was your scariest moment?
My scariest moment, easily. Well, I started playing basketball in 8th grade, so I want to say I was in 8th grade. I was walking to the projects where I grew up at after my 8th grade, and I was walking there by myself. So in South LA, we have it's like gangs. It's like usually Mexicans and blacks, going after each other. And I was walking down the street, and I looked at someone's house, and it had a monkey doll hung with a rope on it. So it was a rope tied around the neck of a monkey, which basically symbolized they hate African Americans, or so to say. And it was people outside, and they saw me walking by their house, and they pulled out guns and stuff at me, and I just instantly dropped to my knees, and they just luckily let me go. And it was just a shock for me. I can barely even speak about it because I get so riled up about it. And it was just the scariest moment in my life, easily the scariest moment in my life. But it was other incidents too, where when I was a small child, just hearing gunshots, seeing people get shot, and just not understanding wow, what is going on, But this was everyday life for us, So it was just a rough.
Did that lead you into moving in with your grandmother?
Yeah, it actually did. So after I moved to the house with my mom when I was around the 9th grade, I want to say. So things at my mom's house wasn't going too well. So I decided just to move with my grandmother because it was her by herself, and I wanted to focus on basketball, focus on my academics. And luckily, my grandma told me I can stay with her while things at my mom's house wasn't going too well. And I thought if I get out the house, maybe it could be a financial lift off my mom, too.
And Mortimer, you receiving the 2007 Kids for Peace Unsung Hero Award for your tireless efforts to fathering the youth of Los Angeles. How do you help the youth when they're in situations like LaRon was?
One of the things that we have grown to do a whole lot better now, they weren't doing as great as thing with LaRon, but we were still doing it, is that we've adopted, it's being able for everyone who works at the center to realize the challenges that many of the kids who are walking through our doors daily might be having at home. And, we see ourselves as being big brother, being uncle, being aunt, being mom, being dad. And, it's the simple things. It's some of the most simple things that our kids are looking for. Many of our kids, don't have someone that they can go home to and tell them and let them know how their day was. Maybe they accomplished something at school. Maybe they're having a hard time. And there's not someone at home that they can go to and speak to. We're that person. We're the person they come to every day after school and celebrate their accomplishments. We're the ones that they bring their worries and concerns to. And we're the ones that try to advise them how to move forward with that. And we literally watch our kids grow up. And I'll be honest with you. I'll be really honest with you. I would leave and go on vacation now, and this is something that I'm realizing is happening more and more. This is my family, and I'm truly saying this. And many of our staff members feel the same way. So the easiest way to explain how we affect life and affect change is just think about the time and effort you put into your own child. That's what we're doing every day.
And LaRon, what kind of things did you do at the Salvation Army? I know you said that you didn't start off in basketball. You finished your career in basketball at LMU, but you didn't start it off at the Salvation Army. What did you do?
Something I did there, I was about 14 or 13, so I volunteered helping out the younger kids that came. So I volunteered. I helped them in an arts and craft room. What else did I do? I watched them while they're on the computers. I helped them with their homework during the day. And I was kind of like a tutor kind of helper for them. And I was about a few years older than the kids, so I could just relate to them easier than some of the older people who worked there. So, them seeing me, it was like, wow, he's in high school. He's in high school, or not the time, it was in middle school. He's in middle school. He's not out there in gangs. So I was kind of like a big brother for the kids in a positive way that they never had.
And what are some of the things that the kids would come to you and talk to you about?
Well, once I got into high school, that's when they really started asking me questions. But once I got to high school and I started to, do good in basketball, they would just ask me all type of questions like, can you train me? I want to be like you. How can I be like you? And I wish my brother was like you. All type of questions like that. But I always told them just stay here at the Salvation Army. You'll become better than me. So that's all I tell them. Just stay in here, stay in the books, and stay working, and just keep your head up, and you'll one day become better than me.
And Mortimer, what are some of the things that you guys do to attract more youth to the center?
The best way of marketing yourself is word of mouth. We believe if we treat a young person well and provide services for them that they appreciate and that they're enjoying and they're benefiting from, that they'll tell their friends or their parents will tell other parents. We're doing a wide range of things. I'd say one of the most important things today is just providing that safe environment, number one. Number two, in addition to being safe, we're being, that loving environment. But then education, academics. I think about coming home every day and helping my kids with their homework. And we take that almost for granted.
I'm LaFern Cusack here for ESPN LA 710 AM. I'm speaking with LaRon Armstead, who finished his 4-year career at LMU playing 109 games, and also Mortimer Jones, Executive Director for the Salvation Army Siemon Family Youth and Community Center in South Los Angeles. LaRon, can you tell us how you went from the high school, you graduated from Fremont High School to win the Coliseum League Championship? Tell us how the Salvation Army and being mentored and your schoolwork led to this championship.
Well, the Salvation Army played a very big role in my success at Fremont High School. The Salvation Army and Fremont are maybe 5 or 10 minutes a distance walking, So every day after practice at high school, I would go to the Salvation Army and practice again. So I was literally practicing from about 2 p.m. to about 8 p.m. every single day in high school. So the Salvation Army, it helped me grow not only as a person and an individual, but also helped tremendously with my basketball game, simply because it gave me a chance to practice after I was practicing. So without Salvation Army being there, I would not have accomplished nothing on the basketball court. And, winning that championship was good with my old coach, Sam Sullivan, and all my players. but a lot of credit goes to Salvation Army. And even my high school coach, he would drop us off at the Salvation Army because he wouldn't want to let us walk at night because it was so dangerous, and our parents couldn't pick us up. And he'd always say, "Well, I'm taking y'all to y'all second home," and that's what it was for me. Salvation Army was my second home.
And how was it to have a mentor in Andre Patterson, and how did that help you with your education and your basketball needs?
Honestly, Andre Patterson has easily been the biggest influence in my life. From the first time I met Andre, he stayed on me. He was like, "I don't want you to get caught up. I don't want you to get caught up in none of this nonsense." Andre stayed on me every single day throughout high school, even from the first day he met me. He told me, because when he first met me, I had about 3 or 4 fails, and he was like, "No, it's not happening. You're going to change your grades around. You're going to play basketball. You're going to become a positive young man." And Andre just stayed on me. If I did bad at school, he would make me do 200 push-ups. If I had a bad game, he would make me do 100 push-ups. Whenever I was failing or whenever I was down, Andre was there to make everything look into a positive. So he easily became a major factor in my life. He was the big brother for a bit of kind of father for me. He was the guy who I can come home and be like, "Andre, man, you'll be proud of me." He was the first person to ever say, "I'm proud of you, man." So that helped me out so much academically and with basketball, just having him there and him supporting me the whole way. And that's all a part of the Salvation Army, because without them, I would have never known Andre.
And Mortimer, do you see that part of mentorship as a strong thing for the Salvation Army and something that is needed?
Oh, absolutely. We're constantly trying to see how we can actually have a really good mentorship program. We've adopted what is called our formative developmental assets. And one of those things is actually, research shows that every kid that has an adult as a mentor, if it's an uncle, an aunt, a community member, a dad, a mom, that person's chance of being successful in life is increased tremendously. I believe it changes 65 to 70% to having that mentor there. So that's a very important part of our program, and we need more mentors for our kids. I would put it as being almost desperate need of mentors for our program at this point.
And how can we become mentors if anyone out there is listening that would like to?
Well, it's pretty easy. First of all, I always say to anyone who's coming to volunteer at our program or coming to work at our program, let it not be a volunteer opportunity or let it not be a job. Let it be your passion, that this is something you really want to do. And then the other part is picking the phone up or coming by, visiting our website. Easiest way is to maybe pick that phone up and actually tell us of your intentions. We, at that point, will walk you through the process of what needs to be done. There's, of course, some paperwork that needs to be taken care of, and then there's brief training that the Salvation Army has for that. But it's really a simple step in actually becoming a mentor.
And LaRon, can you tell us your experience at LMU, being recruited by them and being one of their star players?
LMU just did wonders for me. Like, coming to this school just opened my life up to so many things, so many different things. As I go back home, I try to explain to my friends and my family that it's more than what you see out here. It's so much more. It's so many new people. LMU has opened my eyes just to see, like, there's a big world out there, and really anything I want to do in life, I can do as long as I keep going for it. LMU just is a great place. The people are great, and just everything about it. And plus, the location is wonderful, and the school is wonderful. But I mean, basketball being this last year, we won about 21 games. I think it was the most in like 20 years, I believe. So winning that many games my last year and having all my friends and family watching that, it was big for me because it gave my community, my friends, and people from other communities it just gave them so much respect and just more, just to see more, just knowing that there was more out there for them. A lot of my friends came to the game and they was like, "Man, actually, I want to go to school too." So That's what it did. It just opened up a whole door for a whole community, basically.
What do you think of your assistant coach, or what do you think he meant when he was quoted saying that you're everything you look for in a player?
I mean, basically, I just never quit. Never quit. You know, my mom, she passed away in March during my senior season. So when she passed away, I mean, it was hard for my family, but I just kept going, you know. I kept going. I was in season. I played the next game, and basically because it was I don't know. I really don't know. I think I just stick with it. I never gave up and never put my head down when anything happened all 4 years here. I listened to my coach. It was everything I learned from where I grew up at and from the Salvation Army I brought to college, and I guess it happened to be a good mix.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mortimer, what do you think about LaRon coming back and sharing his vision of a whole new world for the youth at the Salvation Army?
I think it's really important. It's something that, as we get older, we hope to see that there are more and more young people or young adults who are going to come back and do that. I'll tell you something, LaFern. When you talk about a whole new world, and it became so clear to me after the center opened a year in, we were taking kids to camp. We were taking them to summer camp. We were driving along PCH on the way to the Salvation Army's camp in Calabasas. And the kids were making a lot of noise in the back of the bus, and Audrey was sitting beside me in the front. I was like, why are they, they all of a sudden got super loud, and Andre said, Mortimer, some of our kids, this is the first they're seeing the ocean. And that totally blew me away. You might hear the accent, and I'm initially from Jamaica. I see the sea every day, growing up. And the kids, I took that for granted. Yeah. And I realized, LaRon is talking about a whole new world. And it really is. It is so important for them to see that there is more to life than the 4 blocks that they may be venturing. And a lot of times they're restricted in their movement because of gangs. A lot of times it's very unfortunate, but it's the reality. So that whole term of a whole new world, becomes so much more important if you were to actually zero in on some of the young people that we are working with every single day. If we can get them to understand that there's way more to life than just waking up in the morning and existing. I'm telling you, LaFern, what could happen in our world would be totally different. LaRon is a perfect example of that.
LaRon, what would your message to kids and teens be today?
My message to them is just look at the negative situations that you're in turn them into positives, Don't let what you can't do affect what you can do, So if that means staying out of trouble is staying in the gym, stay in the gym. If that means reading a book in the house, read a book in the house. But just don't let the negative situations you are in pull you down. Live every day with a smile on your face, because it's life. And life gets rough, but it can only get better, though, once you're at the bottom. So that's it.
And what's next for you, LaRon? I'm
going to graduate school now. I'm getting my master's in education because eventually I want to start a nonprofit and help kids out of myself. So that's where I'm at now. I'm in school right now, graduate school. So just trying to finish up graduate school and just start my life. So who knows? How
do you feel about the funding being taken away from kids or programs like yours that help LaRon Armstead be a success that he is?
Well, it's interesting that you bring it up because I don't think a lot of people even realize that we're actually facing that right now, and it's sad. I actually had a meeting yesterday afternoon where we spoke about it. We've continued to make adjustments to our program because of changes that might be coming down the pipeline. And I just say that if you look at it this way, the kids that are coming into our program, let us say snacks. It's a perfect one that LaRon mentioned after school program, and maybe if it wasn't for that, he wouldn't maybe eaten that day or that night. When we serve one child a snack, if you were to actually quantify it, and work out to about 80 cents. And you look at the full picture. But the truth is, when you start to remove money, the thing like maybe giving someone a meal becomes a big in that person's life if you're not able to do that anymore. I'm just asking that those who are making our decisions just remember that there are many kids, and they're in our communities who depend on our programs, not only for safety, not only for somewhere to go after school. It is very important to place more emphasis on having after-school programs in our community.
What about you, LaRon?
Seeing that or hearing about that, it just kind of breaks my heart because these are programs that help me become the individual I am today.
Well, thank you guys so much for sharing your thoughts and your life. Good luck to you, LaRon, in graduate school at LMU. Thank you so much for joining me. Mortimer Jones, Executive Director for the Salvation Army Siemon Family Youth and Community Center in South Los Angeles. I'm LaFern Cusack here for ESPN LA 710 AM.